actually got a lot done this morning. I wanted to go over the barn. I did a video for you this morning and realized that I had done the video before I went over to the barn. I wanted to train the horses, or at least watch them go. I went with Gaslight Hall this morning and watched everybody else train that was training. Now, Captain America trained on the weekend. Captain, what did I say?
Captain America.
That's not his name. Captain Incredible is his name, right? Captain Incredible trained on the weekend, and Harry trained him up this morning early. Said the horse is fantastic right now. Somebody asked me a great question, and I always, you know, when I get questions from people, I have to remember that sometimes, right? Not everybody is a horse person with vast amount of knowledge. And when I make these videos, sometimes I say things that are very horse-related terms that may not be absorbed the same, or understanding why we do things may not be as understandable because people don't have the same understanding of horse racing, right? The same experience. So somebody had asked me the other day, Anthony, why, you know, if we're trying to have Captain Incredible ready for Lexington, why don't we just have him ready now? It's a great question. So when it comes to developing young horses, the last thing you want to do is stretch them out or hurt them, right? You want to allow them to develop on their own time frame. Having said that, that time frame is different for every single horse, and it is up to the people that are training them to understand that, recognize that. And that is why it's important to take your time. Just because if you pick up a calendar and say, okay, on Wednesday I'm going to train this fast, then I'm going to go back Saturday on this speed, then next Wednesday, Saturday, lay out the entire training schedule for the horse. That is wonderful if the horse was a robot. But they're not. They're living, breathing animals. Sometimes the horse will develop a splint or a curb. The horse is going through growth spurts. Maybe the horse's knees are bothering them. And you have to be able to recognize that. Take that data in, and then develop a new training schedule. And this goes on and on and on until the horse races, and then you develop a racing schedule. And that's every bit as important to understand when the horse is racing. Maybe the horse didn't race as good last week. Maybe the horse is a little flat, a little dull, a little sick. Maybe the horse bled a little bit. And again, you have to change your schedule, whether that means the horse doesn't race the next week. So there's all these very fluid changes going on, and it never dawned on me, it never once dawned on me that I wasn't being clear. And it was a great question, just a very simple question. If we wanted him ready for the end of July, why wouldn't we just have him ready now? That is a great question, and I hope you understand why now, because he wasn't ready. And he has been ready, and is getting ready, and I know that Harry is getting the horse geared up to race, but I've given him carte blanche. I've given him time. But it appears that he's been training very, very well under the radar also. When Harry tells me they trained good and they went enough, they probably went lots, because I'm the more aggressive person, right? And Harry's the more conservative person. And he would give me that information thinking I would take into it exactly what I took and say, all right, he's ready to go. When I really don't know if he's ready to go. That's a Harry question to answer, right? So, Captain Incredible is getting very close, has looked great. I saw, staying with Harry's barn, I saw the 3-year-old Admiral Dio train today. Good looking horse. First time I've ever seen him in harness, and he looked good. Very good. I saw Resolve Indeed train in the race bike. She's getting close. She's going down to school next week and looked very, very good. Now, when I got to the barn, we'll talk about the horses that raced last night. This video, initially I made a video about last night, but let's talk about these quickly, and then we'll move on to what took place last night. That's okay. So, over in the other barn, I got there just as Gaslight Hall was about to train. I jumped on and went with him. Very impressed with him, very impressed with how he was. My first initial thoughts was he was switching back from the pace to the trot. I hate when the horses do that. It's an easy way to have shoes ripped off. And also, to me, it's usually a telltale sign that the horses maybe are a little pinchy somewhere. But I don't think that's the case with Gaslight. I think he's got a light gait to begin with, and I think he's got into that habit of switching from the trot to the pace. Now, I don't know that we'll ever be able to change that, but he's not getting away with it. And I told Dominic and Danny, no more allowing him to switch back. Put lots of weight on him up front to jog, let his head down with an open bridle, and ensure that he trots the whole way. Because what will happen is, some night he's having maybe not a perfect night, a lackluster night, and he's going to the gate, he'll have an easy way to get out of his work. And sometimes they'll take it. And there's nothing I hate more than having a horse going up to the gate in a stake race, pacing or running, because they're just not on their toes that night. We can't have them great all the time. We are going to race horses from time to time that maybe aren't at their very, very best that night, because it's impossible to have them perfect all the time. But we don't want to allow them. We don't want to give exit strategies, as I like to say. We don't want to give them a way out all the time. And allowing this horse to pace and canter and screw around and goof around is not good for him. But I can tell you one thing. When I put him in gear today, he was awesome today. My expectations of where they should be are lofty sometimes, right? And they're lofty sometimes. They're aggressive sometimes. And that's hard to make. It's hard to meet expectations. When I set expectations on a horse that I haven't seen in a while, you're hopeful, you're optimistic, but I want to see how he is, and he exceeded my expectations today. I was thoroughly impressed with the way that Gaslight Hall looked. Princess Dream, Cleveland Masha, both trained very, very good today. I was really happy with her. My Wicked Heart, I watched train today. She actually looked good today. Cooled out good. Emily's got her feeling good. I guess the only downside, a lot of people are going to hear me say, Trevino on green, still forging. I watched them train. Now here's the thing about the forging, right? We hope as they grow up, they get out of it. Stay close forge is bad. So it's not like you can't be an effective horse and forge. Forging is when their hind feet come up and touch the bottom of their foot as they're getting it out of the way. And I've had people say, well, this is how you do to fix that. Listen, I've been around horses my whole life. I've trained and driven trotters for the vast majority of my career. And I can tell you right now, it is not an easy fix, ever. Depending on the severity of it, how they do it, and at what point in the mile do they do it? Do they do it speeding up? Do they do it slowing down? Or is it just constant? All of these things make for a difficult or easier fix. When a 2-year-old of his size is doing it, best thing you can do is just leave them alone, turn them out, and let them grow up. Because what happens eventually is they get forging, they get making breaks, and then that horse with the great attitude, that big, strong, good-looking horse with the good attitude and the great work ethic, now he just turns into a big, sour horse. Right? And that's what I don't want to see from Trevino on green. So I'm not going to force it on Danny. I'm going to wait for Danny's final report, so to speak, what he thinks, how he sees it. And then we'll take action after that. But my 2 cents has been the same for the last 3 or 4 weeks. You can tinker with him. You can train him. He's been in 2.5. You can tinker with him. You can train him. But I don't want it to jeopardize his overall attitude and work ethic. So if we're not making headway on July the 8th, 2024, I'd rather just turn him out until September 1st, 2024. Or even September 15th, truthfully. So that's where we're at with him. And there's nothing wrong with that. He's a big, good-looking colt. Allow him to be a good horse. It's pretty simple. Would you rather struggle to get to the track now and have him look like garbage on the track? No, you don't want to do that. Let the horse grow up and be the best form of the horse he can be. I can't guarantee he's going to be a good horse, but he's a good-looking horse. And I can assure you, with his attitude right now and his work ethic, if he can get there and if he can be a good horse, he will. Just give him the tools to do it. Just need a little time, a little maturity. Now we will rewind to last night. What a fantastic start to the summer we've had. What a great run we're on. And what a great race card last night we had. A dance card for us. We had 5 horses racing. Now we had 2 in Michigan. I'll start by Michigan. I was happy with the way the filly looked. Finished second. Got beat fair and square in 2.5. That was a good mile over that track, I'm sure. The colt. Donnie's to the point now where he's just trying to hold him together best he can. This should be an effective, useful horse. And he isn't right now. So Donnie was on the same page as I was texting, hey, why don't you bring that guy back up to Northfield? We'll see if we can screw him down tight for his next race. As I was texting that, I got a message from Donnie saying, hey, I'm going to be racing at Northfield this week. Why don't we send that horse up and you can look at him and tinker with him and tell me what the hell you think is going wrong with him. So it's nice that we're on the same wavelength with him. Nobody feels more frustrated, I'm sure, than Donnie Harmon. I can assure you of that. All horsemen, especially old school horsemen like he is, take great pride in the work that they do. And when a horse isn't working out, especially when expectations are high, when a horse arrives somewhere with high expectations, it really hurts. It bothers you. I've been there. I've done that, and it'll happen again and again and again. That's horse racing. Now what we have to do is get him squared. What is going on with him? How do we fix that? How do we make sure that he pays attention moving forward? I can assure you one thing. Mountaineer Prince is going to be plenty tight, plenty sharp, and plenty ready to go when he heads back to Michigan after this week. He'll be up at some point this week, and we'll begin working on him. As I said, Sunset Acres Girl finished good, finished second. I was happy with her mile, 2.5. You can't ask for much more than that. And for the rest of the horses, what a great night we had. Man, Victory Blue Chip. I saw a message pop up on, I don't know, his Facebook or YouTube or just our feed or whatnot. Somebody said, well, is this enough to keep him in the stable? No, it's not enough to keep him in the stable. He is going to be in the sale next week. But it is a good line to sell him on, and quite frankly, I'm not giving him away. There are some horses that are leaving, regardless. You guys know who they are. I'm going to send you the list. There's probably 6 horses that are going in that preferred sale. Now, the only issue was, I watched My Wicked Heart train today, and originally, Patricia had said to me, one of our clients had said, maybe give her a couple more starts. My initial thought was absolutely not. I don't like what I've seen from this filly. What's wrong, sweetheart?
Where we going?
Ollie has to get his hair cut, sweetie. Right? Yeah. So, no, not to. Yeah, maybe this afternoon. We'll see what's on this afternoon. See what movies are on. I never thought of that. I'd love to if there was a good movie to watch. Are you sure you'll watch a movie though? I don't believe you, but here, take my card. Take my card. Where are my cards?
Can I come in?
This could be a problem. Oh, they're under your butt. They're under your butt. Right there. Scotiabank. Oh.
The Scotiabank?
Yeah. I'll tell you what. I have, you guys know this. So, give me it. So, I got my cards in my clip, right? And I knew, you ever forget your phone, lose your phone, you can't find your phone, you get that manic moment of panic. It sounds stupid, but you've all been there, I'm sure. And right here, that's everything. It's all my cards. In fact, my Nexus card is in here also. But I remembered quite quickly that when I got out of the car to go train the horse, I said, can't take this with you. Whew, a bit of a panic. Stay, behave. So, Victory Blue Chip, I thought he raced well, he did his work well, but at the same token, he's got to move up a class now. Can he do it in there? Possibly, yeah, maybe. But I just think it makes more sense to move this guy on. The way he's racing good. Somebody's going to want him that can race in, I don't know, Dover or Ocean or Saratoga or Plain Ridge or wherever, a million different places. But for what we're doing right now, I just think that we're going to have a couple of horses tripping over themselves, and I'm gonna be a little proactive. So Victory Blue Chip will be leaving us likely next Monday. And I guess to answer your question quickly, that comes next. Will he race again before then? No, he will not. Brace for Landing. That was probably one of the best miles I've ever seen him go. Very reminiscent to the way I drove him. Kind of left, sit, moved him back to the front. And James was a driving off winner in 53-3, running in a little bit in the straightaways, but I think that's just him putting some muscle on. I would guess right stifle if I was to guess, but some paint on him. I don't think there's any need for a ton of vet work on him. What I did notice in the slow motion was that even though we've been letting his hobbles out, they still look tight last night. I'm almost certain this horse could race without hobbles. I'm less apt to try him now that he's racing good. So I think we'll just let the hobbles out for now. But I think at some point between now and the fall, you're going to see him at least make an attempt to be an unhobbled trotter. And I know that somebody's going to say to me, well, I thought you said, Anthony, that you don't believe hobbles slow them down. In some instances, when you have a horse that's looking to break out of their gait, a horse that's been wearing hobbles their whole life and is looking to expand and expand and expand, well, yeah, I believe that if you can get the hobbles off and they can trot, then yeah, they can be a better horse. So again, understanding when I say something, nothing in this industry is ever black and white, right? And I guess that's the takeaway, much like life, I guess. It was funny. you talk about seeing the forest for the trees, right? We talk about sometimes missing things just because you're focused on one point. So Addie's seat was jammed in the back. It had clothes on it, and Curtis had asked me to bring something home for him. So it was a very large box, and it took over most of the back seat. So Addie's seat was jammed behind it. So I'm thinking to myself, Ollie's in the front, and I'm thinking to myself, how am I going to move this box around? It doesn't fit anywhere else in the back seat. I can't put it in the trunk. I can't move it around. I'm trying to wrestle with it, and it was the 5-year-old. She looked at me and she said, Dad, why don't you just move the seat ahead, take my chair, put it on the other side of the car, and move the seat back. Oh, I never thought of that. Yeah. So I was duped. I was outwitted by a little 5-year-old girl. You would think that there was clearly a problem. There was 2 problems in the back seat of the car. How do you move the box, or can we move the seat? But because I was so focused on problem 1, the solution to the entire thing laid in problem 2, and I never got to that. It's right there. Yes. And that's a lot for this game, right? You focus on something. I keep telling you guys all the time. Sometimes you have horses that have multiple issues, and you're so focused on one, you don't realize that there's other stuff going on. And whether that be shoeing or vet work or equipment, fingers in your mouth, or vet work or anything like that.
Little bump right here.
That's all right. Don't pick at it. Sometimes you miss the whole picture because you're focused on a portion of it. So I guess that doesn't truly apply to Brace for Landing, but understanding that because he is hung up a certain way, he has to be all the time. That isn't it. He's changing now. He is in flux. He is changing now. His hobbles need to go out, and I suspect, stop. And I suspect at some point will come off. Now, that is the first 2 trotters. 2 for 2 on the night, pari-mutually speaking. Save America looked good again. Somebody had asked, why isn't he on Lasix? And I thought we were bringing him to Pennsylvania. We're trying to find the best way to get him on Lasix, but there is rules in the Lasix program. Take them off Lasix, you have to wait a certain amount of time. Now, that timeline is different in New York, in Pennsylvania, in Ontario, New Jersey, Kentucky, Indiana, as you can imagine, everywhere. So how do we get him on Lasix? I still believe this horse should be on Lasix. You see him getting soft at the wire. Is he really getting soft at the wire? Is he bleeding a little bit? I don't know. I'm not positive. Are you about to pick your nose?
No.
Really?
No.
Sure about that?
Mm-hmm.
I got you on camera. I'll go back and look. So Save America, a winner in, you can look at it either way. The pessimistic people are going to say, well, he was on his hands and knees at the wire in 52 and 3. The optimistic people are going to say he was a winner in 52 and 3. Opened up 4 or 5 lengths coming out of the turn and coasted to the wire, a 2.5 length winner. And I thought the horse looked rather good, and I think he can even be better off that. Great job by Megan, and a great job by Scotty. Yo, mister. What are you doing, weirdo?
Are my eyes blue green?
They're green.
Your eyes are green.
No, they're not. They're brown. Use your finger in your nose.
No.
Keep your finger out of your nose. You have toilet paper, you have tissues there. So, Yo Mister was next. Harry, we just had a great conversation at the barn about Yo Mister. He had a foot separation on the inside of one foot and a little quarter crack on the other. I think that was where you saw him getting on the line bad. I didn't see it as much last night. Harry's been working on his footwear and shoeing. I thought the horse was in very, very tough last night. And if he had got out, that's Ollie's. If he had got out at the head of the lane, I think he probably gives him a little scare. He might have been a winner, but he definitely looked really good last night and finished 4th in with some good horses. So I was happy with him, and then Great Bet ended the night. You know, I just continue to drill down on the fact that, you know, the right horse for the right class. The horse jogged last night and looked good, and I know Hunter was showboating and rubbing it in Aaron's face. I love that. But the horse still looked very, very good, and I was really, really happy with Great Bet. An easy type winner. Listen, any night you can send 5 postward and 4 of them win. It's a great night. And the only horse that lost, we are going to get to the bottom of Mountaineer Prince this week. That I can guarantee. Yo Mister raced great. Sunset Acres Girl was a fair beaten second, but raced good in a good mile at Big Rapids. So that was last night. You know about this morning. Tonight we watch your. We have some horses racing tonight. Watch Your Mouth is racing tonight at is that Georgian or Grand River? Georgian Downs. Watch Your Mouth is racing. So good luck to John and Watch Your Mouth. Sweeney is in a great spot again, back in that same class he was in last week where he was a winner. He's 3-1. The only concern I have in the night, all gas, no brakes. I don't think his gait was perfect the other day. It was good. It was better. I've seen it worse and him do well, so I'm not super concerned. But as I said to Dominic, I think if we get those half-inch, half-rounds off him up front and even swap them out for aluminums, I think he'll be a lot better in his next start. But we couldn't do that for this week. So we'll see how all gas, no brakes races tonight. And then Chicago Hall, I suspect you're going to see this guy head to the Lasix program at some point. That in itself is a great conversation. So I did it the other day a little bit in a video. I'll give you the Coles notes real quick. When it comes to Lasix, it's always been taboo, right, for 2-year-olds. A lot of the thoroughbreds are on them, but not the standardbreds. And my take on 2-year-olds on Lasix is the same as racehorses on Lasix. If they truly need it, they should get it. And that was solidified in my mind after racing 3 Point Blue Chip, right? 3 Point Blue Chip was probably one of the best 2-year-olds we've ever had. And when 3 Point Blue Chip was racing, his first, second, third start always showed it just a hair, just a couple of drops of blood. Not really enough to put on Lasix. The vet had always said, you can treat him with this, you can treat him with that. Buy a nebulizer. Buy a nebulizer. Work on his airway. I'm sure he'll be fine. And it always just showed a little bit. Then we went down to the Breeders' Crown and raced him. He was 4th, beat half a length, 1.5 out of 5 for blood. Almost a 2. And I remember very vividly having a conversation with the veterinarian, the commission vet in New Jersey. She said, Mr. McDonald, I'll talk to Mommy in a minute. I have worked with thoroughbreds my entire life for the most part, and I can tell you this. I've seen them turn horses out for a year, bring them back, and after a couple of starts, you see them start to bleed again. She goes, I was never of that belief, but I am now. If you're going to race this horse any longer this year, I would put him on Lasix. And I was shocked to hear that. We put him on Lasix and he won the matron. So I have to believe if he was on Lasix for the Breeders' Crown eliminations, we might have been in. We might have won. Who knows? But that didn't happen. So 3 Point Blue Chip, it certainly didn't hurt the rest of his career. Obviously, he got injured at 3. He got injured at 3, and that had nothing to do with Lasix. But when it comes to a horse like Chicago Hall, are we going to spend all summer in allergy season trying to mitigate the remnants of what is going on, or are we going to use what is given to us to help him along the way? And I think that the latter is the way to go. Now, that is not me having an admission of how the horse will be no good tonight. I think he'll be fine. He trained great on Friday. He felt very, very, very strong. But, one more second, sweetheart. But if there's blood found tonight, as I said to Dominic, I don't think we should hesitate to put him on Lasix moving forward. So, we'll see how it all plays out tonight. A great last night, a great week, really. I mean, jeepers. You look back to last Monday. No, Great Bet was the only winner on Monday. Sweeney was a winner on Tuesday. Greatest Ending was a winner on Wednesday, where Lonely Lakewood was second. We had a great run with Country Dancing, second in the Grassroots, the Stallion Series. Irresistible Sun jogged. Gypsy Hill jogged. Drebin was an unfortunate break, but you could see how he'd do good. Shh. And then on Friday, right, we had another very good night. Texan was the only winner, but Freedom Hill and Green Glitter both raced good. Then Saturday, we had a great run in the stake races. We had winners all over the place on Saturday. Had a great night. Sunday, pretty good day in Lexington. We're getting to the bottom of that. I know a lot of people are asking about Grand Slam DO. I don't think there was anything major done. There was some minor tie-up. There was probably some issues with her shoeing on that track, potentially, and that we're going to work with. But the good news was, if there was nothing detrimental found with her, obviously pretty unsightly to watch a horse plummet through the field and walk, but with no heat stroke, with no AFib, with no thumps, that's good. We don't have to worry about her heart, no bleeding, no mucus. We don't have to worry about her lungs. Everything else that falls under any umbrella under that horse can be easily fixed for the short term and the long term, and that's where we find ourselves now. So we're going to have, I think, in the finals, we'll have Memento Mori, Arson, Pickpocket, and Memory and Imagination. We'll have 4 in the finals, and in the consolation we'll likely have Gymboree and Westland Warrior, and will likely forego Grand Slam Dio. If there's a maiden there, 2-year-old maiden, I'd rather race her there and give her a softer spot for next week. But that is all. That will be up to the race office and will be up to Eric. And we got to Monday. Again, a great run on the weekend. Monday, raced 5, 4 winners, and then a second and a break in Michigan. So a great start to our week. Hopefully we can keep it going. It certainly feels good, and it makes for the baseball games also a little more fun to watch. So with that, I'll talk to you soon. I will catch up to you maybe later on tonight when I'm on my way back to Northfield. We have a lot of horses training tomorrow. It's going to rain hard in a lot of places. That hurricane weather is coming this way, the remnants of it. So a lot of rain is going to fall in a lot of places.
PBI?
Probably, I would imagine. A lot of rain is going to fall in a lot of places. Hopefully we can catch a window tomorrow to train the horses at Northfield Park. We can catch a window and train the horses in the middle of it all tomorrow in Northfield Park. Race a few tomorrow night. And then again, the stakes all start Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So with that, I'll let you go. Hope you're having a great day. It was a great day. Thoroughly impressed with the horses I saw here in Ontario. They are getting as close as I wanted them to. They do look every bit as good as I want them to. Everything is good today. Take care.